23rd of August. A very, very good morning to you. Thursday morning. Let's get into our news bulletin at 7 o'clock. United States President Donald Trump has asked his Secretary of State to closely study South Africa's shifting land policy. In a late-night tweet, Trump said he'd asked Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to study South Africa's land and farm seizures in addition to expropriations and large-scale killing of farmers. Sherwin Bryce-Pease reports.
President Donald Trump has just tweeted that he has asked his Secretary of State, Secretary Mike Pompeo, to closely study South Africa's land and farm seizures and expropriations and the large-scale killing of farmers. Quote, the South African government is now seizing land from white farmers. It's a quote that he is using directly from the Tucker Carlson show on conservative cable news channel Fox News. The president, of course, tweeting at the conclusion of this program, so clearly getting his information from Fox News. It was a 6-minute segment that also erroneously claimed that President Cyril Ramaphosa had begun seizing land from the country's own citizens without compensating them for it because they are the wrong skin color. The host Tucker Carlson also asked the American elite why they weren't paying enough attention to the situation in South Africa at all. He then quoted a statement from the State Department arguing that South Africa was in fact a strong democracy grappling in an open and transparent manner with the difficult issue of land reform, citing the South African government's own assurances that the process would unfold within the rule of law. The program then continued to claim that President Ramaphosa had already changed South Africa's constitution to effect the new land policy to make it possible to steal land from people because they are the wrong skin color. It then proceeded to have an interview with a gentleman called Marion Tupy, whom they introduced as a South African who has studied the issue very closely in South Africa, apparently. Marion Tupy is from the conservative Cato Institute in Washington, who then continued to draw comparisons to the land seizures in Zimbabwe, arguing that, quote, in a free and civilized society, we don't take people's stuff, close quote. So big news out of the United States this morning in South Africa is that the president has tweeted that he has instructed his Secretary of State to take a closer look at South Africa's land and land expropriation and what they call farm seizures in the United States. And you can certainly expect more on this in the hours ahead.